Unrepeatable.
Unrepeatable.
He said something unrepeatable.
Unrepentant.
Unrepentant.
He remains unrepentant about his comments.
Unreported.
Unreported.
Rape is a crime that often goes unreported.
Unrepresentative.
Unrepresentative.
Opinions that are unrepresentative of the population.
Unrequited.
Unrequited.
Unreserved.
Unreserved.
Unreserved support for the Prime Minister. We found some unreserved seats on the train.
Unreservedly.
Unreservedly.
He apologized unreservedly.
Unresolved.
Unresolved.
The unresolved issue of who will pay for the project.
An unresolved conflict.
Unresponsive.
Unresponsive.
The disease is totally unresponsive to conventional treatment.
His warning fell on unresponsive ears.
Unrest.
Unrest.
There is growing unrest throughout the country.
The protests were the biggest show of social unrest since the government came to power.
Unrestrained.
Unrestrained.
Unrestrained power.
Unrestricted.
Unrestricted.
Unrestricted access to information.
Unrewarded.
Unrewarded.
His efforts have not gone unrewarded.
Unrivaled.
Unrivaled. An unrivaled collection of Chinese art.
Unripe.
Unripe.
Unroll.
Unroll. He unrolled the carpet.
Unruffled.
Unruffled.
Emily remained completely unruffled by the chaos.
Unruly.
Unruly.
Unruly children.
Unruly behavior.
Unsaddle.
Unsaddle.
Unsafe.
Unsafe.
The building is unsafe. Water that's unsafe to drink.
Many people feel unsafe walking alone at night.
An unsafe conviction.
Unsaid. Unsaid.
Some things are better left unsaid.
Unsanitary.
Unsanitary.
Unsanitary conditions.
Unsatisfactory.
Unsatisfactory.
An unsatisfactory situation.
Unsatisfied.
Unsatisfied.
An unsatisfied demand for graduates.
Unsatisfied consumers.
Unsaturated. Unsaturated.
Unsavory.
Unsavory. The club has an unsavory reputation. There were a lot of unsavory characters around the station.
Unscathed.
Unscathed.
He escaped unscathed from the accident.
The government was relatively unscathed by the scandal.
Unscheduled.
Unscheduled.
The plane made an unscheduled stop in New York.
Unscientific.
Unscientific.
Unscientific ideas.
Unscramble.
Unscramble.
Unscrew.
Unscrew.
Unscripted.
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 Unscrupulous.
Unscrupulous.
Unscrupulous employers.
Unseasonably.
Unseasonably.
Unseat.
Unseat.
An attempt to unseat the party leader.
Unsecured.
Unsecured.
Unseeded.
Unseated.
Unseeing.
Unseeing.
Jack gazed unseeing out of the window.
Unseemly.
Unseemly. Anne thought it unseemly to kiss her husband in public.
Unseen.
Unseen.
Raj crept out of the house unseen.
Unseen dangers.
Unselfish.
Unselfish.
Unsettle.
Unsettle.
The sudden changes unsettled Judy.
Unsettled.
Unsettled.
Difficult and unsettled times.
Children often feel unsettled if their parents divorce. The dispute remains unsettled.
My stomach's a bit unsettled after all that rich food. Unsettling.
Unsettling.
An unsettling experience.
Unshakable.
Unshakable.
Unshaken.
Unshaken.
He remained unshaken in his belief that she was wrong.
Unshaven.
Unshaven.
Unsightly.
Unsightly.
Unsightly buildings.
Unsightly marks.
Unsigned.
Unsigned.
Unskilled.
Unskilled.
Companies employing unskilled labour.
Unsmiling.
Unsmiling.
An unsmiling face.
Unsociable.
Unsociable.
Unsocial.
Unsocial.
Unsolicited. Unsolicited.
Unsolicited calls. Unsolicited advice.
Unsolved.
Unsolved.
The murder still remains unsolved.
Unsophisticated.
Unsophisticated.
An unsophisticated audience.
Unsound.
Unsound.
A test that's scientifically unsound.
The houses are structurally unsound. People of unsound mind.
Unspeakable.
Unspeakable.
An unspeakable tragedy.
Unspeakable joy.
Unspecified.
Unspecified.
The meeting will take place at an unspecified date in the future.
Unspoiled.
Unspoiled.
Unspoiled countryside. She remained unspoilt by her success.
Unspoken.
Unspoken.
An unspoken assumption.
Unspoken question.
Unsporting.
Unsporting.
Unstable.
Unstable.
The political situation is still very unstable.
An unstable relationship.
A mentally unstable man.
Unstated.
Unstated.
Unstated assumptions.
Unsteady.
Unsteady.
He poured the coffee with a very unsteady hand.
A baby's first unsteady steps.
She was quite unsteady on her feet. Her voice was unsteady. She took a deep, unsteady breath.
An unsteady ladder.
An unsteady piece.
Unstinting.
Unstinting.
Unstoppable.
Unstoppable.
Once Janet gets an idea, she's unstoppable.
Unstressed.
Unstressed.
Unstructured.
Unstructured.
Unstructured interviews.
Unstuck.
Unstuck. A dangerous area of rock where many climbers came unstuck.
Unsubscribe.
Unsubscribe.
To unsubscribe from our mailing list, follow the instructions below.
Unsubstantiated.
Unsubstantiated.
Unsubstantiated allegations of child abuse.
Unsuccessful.
Unsuccessful.
We have been unsuccessful in finding a new manager.
He tried unsuccessfully to make them change their decision.
Unsuitable.
Unsuitable.
Unsuitable housing.
The book is unsuitable for children.
Unsuited.
Unsuited.
He was unsuited for the job.
Old school buildings unsuited to modern education.
I now realise that Tom and I were totally unsuited.
Unsullied.
Unsullied.
Unsung.
Unsung. One of the unsung heroes of French politics.
Unsure.
Unsure.
I was unsure of the reaction I would get.
If you are unsure about anything, just ask.
Peter was unsure what to do next.
Chris seemed nervous and unsure of herself.
Unsurpassed.
Unsurpassed.
An unsurpassed knowledge of Greek history.
Unsurprising.
Unsurprising.
It's unsurprising that the project failed.
An enjoyable but unsurprising album. Unsuspecting.
Unsuspecting.
Unsuspecting victims.
Fake designer clothes are being sold to an unsuspecting public.
Unsustainable.
Unsustainable.
Unsustainable economic growth.
Unsweetened.
Unsweetened.
Unswerving.
Unswerving.
A politician with unswerving loyalty to the president.
Unsympathetic.
Unsympathetic.
A government that's unsympathetic to public opinion.
An unsympathetic character.
Untainted.
Untainted.
A politician untainted by corruption.
Untamed.
Untamed.
Untangle.
Untangle.
The research attempts to untangle some of these issues.
Untapped.
Untapped.
Older people are an untapped resource in the employment market.
We believe there is untapped potential.
Untenable.
Untenable.
The scandal put the president in an untenable position.
Untested.
Untested.
An argument based on untested assumptions.
Unthinkable.
Unthinkable.
It is unthinkable that a mistake like this could have happened. It would be unthinkable for me to stay anywhere but with the family.
Then the unthinkable happened and the boat started to sink.
It was the job of the committee to think the unthinkable.
Unthinking.
Unthinking.
Untidy.
Untidy.
An untidy desk. Untidy hair.
Her clothes were in an untidy heap on the floor.
Untie.
Untie.
Peter untied his shoelaces.
Until.
Until.
The ticket is valid until March.
He waited until she had finished speaking.
Until recently, Anna worked as a teacher in Japan.
Up until last year, they didn't even own a car.
Can I go out and play now? Not until you've done your homework.
It was not until 1972 that the war finally came to an end.
Untimely.
Untimely. The untimely death of a popular local man.
The announcement brought the meeting to an untimely end. An untimely interruption.
Untiring.
Untiring. Untiring efforts to help the homeless.
Untitled.
Untitled.
Unto.
Unto.
Thanks be unto God.
Untold.
Untold.
The rumours will do untold damage to his reputation.
The floods have caused untold misery to hundreds of homeowners. A game that offers untold wealth to the most talented players.
Untouchable.
Untouchable.
He was the boss's husband, and therefore untouchable. Untouched.
Untouched.
An island that has been untouched by time.
Several papers lay untouched on the desk.
Untoward.
Untoward.
I walked past, but didn't notice anything untoward.
Untrained.
Untrained.
Untrained staff.
To the untrained eye, the two flowers look remarkably similar.
Untrammelled.
Untrammeled.
An organization untrammeled by legal restraints.
Untreated.
Untreated.
Untreated sewage.
Untried.
Untried.
A young and untried minister.
Untried and untested ways to make money.
Untrue.
Untrue.
Allegations that are totally untrue. It's untrue to say that the situation has not changed.
Untrustworthy.
Untrustworthy.
Untruth.
Untruth.
Untruthful.
Untruthful.
Untutored.
Untutored.
To the untutored ear, this music sounds as if it might have been written by Beethoven.
Untypical.
Untypical.
A building that is quite untypical of the period in which it was built. These problems are not untypical.
Unusable.
Unusable.
Unused.
Unused.
Unused land.
A sensitive man unused to publicity. Maggie was unused to being told what to do.
Unusual.
Unusual.
An unusual feature.
Unusual circumstances.
It's unusual for Dave to be late.
It's not unusual to feel very angry in a situation like this.
Unusually.
Unusually.
Unusually high levels of pollution.
Unusually for me, I fell asleep very quickly.
Unutterable.
Unutterable.
Unvarnished.
Unvarnished.
An unvarnished account of events.
Unveil.
Unveil.
The club has unveiled plans to build a new stadium.
The statue was unveiled by the Queen.
Unvoiced.
Unvoiced.
Unvoiced fears.
Unwaged.
Unwaged.
Unwanted.
Unwanted.
An unwanted pregnancy.
Unwarranted.
Unwarranted.
Unwarranted interference.
Unwary.
Unwary.
Unwary travellers.
Pitfalls that can trap the unwary.
Unwashed.
Unwashed.
Unwashed cups.
Unwavering.
Unwavering.
An unwavering stare. Unwavering support.
Unwelcome.
Unwelcome.
Unwelcome publicity.
Unwelcome news.
Unwell.
Unwell.
She had been feeling unwell.
Unwieldy.
Unwieldy.
Unwieldy bureaucracy.
Unwilling.
Unwilling.
He was unwilling or unable to pay the fine.
An unwilling helper.
Unwind.
Unwind.
A beautiful country hotel that is the perfect place to unwind.
She started to unwind her scarf.
Unwise.
Unwise.
It's unwise to keep medicines in a place that can be reached by children.
Unwittingly.
Unwittingly.
Friedman had unwittingly broken the law.
An unwitting accomplice.
Unwonted.
Unwanted.
Unwanted freedom.
Unworkable.
Unworkable.
Unworldly.
Unworldly.
Unworldly beauty.
Unworthy.
Unworthy.
An idea that's unworthy of serious consideration.
A suggestion that's unworthy of someone who hopes to become president.
Unwound.
Unwound.
Unwrap.
Unwrap.
Bridget was unwrapping her birthday presents.
Unwritten.
Unwritten.
Unwritten rules of social behaviour. Unyielding.
Unyielding.
An unyielding resistance to change.
A harsh, unyielding landscape.
Unzip.
Unzip.
Up.
Up.
We walked slowly up the hill.
She picked her jacket up off the floor.
Paths leading up into the mountains.
Tim had climbed up a tree to get a better view.
Put up your hand if you know the answer.
The water was getting up my nose.
Karen lay on her back, staring up at the ceiling. John's up in his bedroom.
A plane flying 30,000 feet up.
Her office is just up those stairs.
The doctor's assistant was up a ladder in the stockroom.
Everyone stood up for the national anthem.
Mick turned his collar up against the biting winds.
She lives just up the street.
We walked up the road towards the church.
They live up north.
We're driving up to Chicago for the conference.
A stormy voyage up the East Coast from Miami to Boston.
A man came up and offered to buy him a drink.
She drove right up to the front door.
The bed was up against the wall.
Have you been up to London recently? Sailing up the Thames. The river steamers only went up as far as Mandalay.
Turn up the radio.
Violent crime went up by 9% last year.
Inflation is up by 2%.
Profits are up on last year.
United were a goal up at half-time.
Are the kids still up?
They stayed up all night to watch the game. It's time to get up.
It's good to see you up and about again.
We've used up all our savings.
The children had to eat up all their food.
After a month, the wound had almost healed up. Why did you tear up that letter?
We still haven't decided how to divide up the money.
Let's just add up these figures quickly.
Could you collect up the papers?
Put the playing cards right side up.
Isn't that painting the wrong way up?
All the women were naked from the waist up.
Children aged 12 and up must pay the full fare. Ralph paced up and down the room, looking worried.
Jason's been very up and down since his girlfriend left him. They were all jumping up and down and screaming excitedly.
Shivers ran up and down my body.
Maisie looked her rival up and down with a critical eye.
The Olympic Stadium will hold up to 80,000 spectators.
A process that can take anything up to 10 days.
She continued to care for her father up to the time of his death.
We've kept our meetings secret up to now.
I'm afraid Tim just isn't up to the job.
You don't need to go back to school if you don't feel up to it. He's not really up to seeing any visitors.
I didn't think last night's performance was up to her usual standard.
The children are very quiet. I wonder what they're up to.
He knew Bailey was up to something, but what?
I always suspected that he was up to no good.
You can pay weekly or monthly. It's up to you.
It's up to the travel companies to warn customers of any possible dangers.
I'm sorry, we'll have to stop there. Our time is up.
There could well be a few problems before your new computer is up and running properly.
He came up against a lot of problems with his boss.
Murphy will be really up against it when he faces the champion this afternoon.
The house is up for sale.
This week, 14 of Campbell's paintings were put up for auction. Even the most taboo subjects were up for discussion.
Senator Frank Church was coming up for re-election that year.
She is one of 5 candidates up for the chief executive's job. Ron's up for drinking and driving next week.
We're going to the pub later. Are you up for it?
I could tell by the look on his face that something was up.
Is something up with Julie? She looks really miserable.
What's up? Why are you crying?
I'm not all that well up in musical matters. Conrad's really up on his geography, isn't he?
He was up before the magistrate's court, charged with dangerous driving.
I'm up to here with this job. I'm resigning.
We have our ups and downs like all couples.
Business confidence is on the up.
A brilliant young player who is on the up and up.
They've upped their offer by 5%.
Without saying another word, he upped and left.
Up.
Up.
To upgrade a job.
Uphill.
Upriver.
An uprooted tree. She upended the bucket.
Upmarket.
Up and coming.
Up and coming.
Up-and-coming young artists.
Upbeat.
Upbeat. An upbeat message. Upbraid.
Upbraid.
Upbringing.
Mike had had a strict upbringing.
UPC.
UPC.
Upcharge.
Upcharge. You have to pay a $3 upcharge to watch a movie in 3D.
Upchuck. Upcoming.
Upcoming.
The upcoming elections.
Upcountry.
Upcountry.
Upcycle.
Upcycle. She upcycles old scarves into fabulous cushions.
Update.
Update.
The files need updating.
Plans to update manufacturing procedures.
Can you update me on what's been happening?
A news update.
The report provides a brief update on the progress of the project.
Updo.
Updo.
For her wedding, she wanted to wear her hair in an updo.
Upend.
Upend.
Upfront.
Upfront.
Mo's very upfront with him about their relationship.
An upfront fee of $500. He requires you to pay him upfront.
Upgrade.
Upgrade. You'll need to upgrade your hard drive to 4 megabytes before running this software.
The hotel has recently been refurbished and upgraded.
We can upgrade you to business class.
4 of the regions were upgraded to the status of republic.
Upheaval.
Upheaval.
Political upheaval.
Moving house is a major upheaval.
Uphill.
Uphill.
An uphill climb.
The road twists uphill.
Uphold.
Uphold.
A committee that aims to uphold educational standards. The conviction was upheld by the Court of Appeal.
Upholster.
Upholster.
Upholsterer.
Upholsterer.
Upholstery.
Upholstery.
Upkeep.
Upkeep.
Most of the money is spent on the upkeep of the building.
Poorer people find it hard to pay for their pets' upkeep.
Uplands.
Uplands.
Uplift.
Uplift.
An uplift in sales.
Uplifted.
Uplifted.
He felt uplifted by her presence.
Uplifting.
Uplifting.
An uplifting experience.
Uplighter.
Uplighter.
Upload. Upload.
It might take a while for this to upload.
Tips on handling file uploads.
Uplighter.
Upmarket.
Upmarket.
An upmarket restaurant. A brand that's moved upmarket.
Upon.
Upon.
An honour bestowed upon the association.
We are completely dependent upon your help.
Brandon threw him upon the ground.
Winter is almost upon us. Mile upon mile of golden sand.
Upper. Upper.
The upper lip.
The upper floors of a building.
There is an upper age limit for becoming a pilot.
Police have gained the upper hand over the drug dealers in the area.
The upper echelons of corporate management.
The upper reaches of the Nile.
Leather uppers.
Uppercase. Uppercase.
Upperclassman.
Upperclassman.
Upperclasswoman.
Upperclasswoman.
Upper class. Upper class.
Upper class families.
Upper crust.
Upper crust.
Uppercut.
Uppercut.
Upper house.
Upper house.
Uppermost.
Uppermost.
A feeling of pity for David was uppermost in her mind.
The one word which seems to be uppermost in every discussion is money.
The uppermost windows of the house. She turned her hand over, palm uppermost.
Upper school.
Upper school.
Uppity.
Uppity.
Uppity kids.